Good day, everyone. My name is Petty Gamach Pereira. Everyone calls me Lami Pereira. And first of all, before I start, I have to thank the symposium chair, Dr. Pradeepa Vijay Tunga, and also co-chair, Mr. Ramanan, and also Dr. Chiranti Vijay Sundara for giving me this opportunity to present as a guest speaker. So today I'm just going to present about cultural information science. So you might be thinking about what the heck is that? And yeah, so I'm an inventor, academic consultant at School of Engineering and Technology from the Central Queensland University, Australia. And very soon I'll be joining Loyola University in the US. And so yeah, so at the moment I'm an academic in Central Queensland University, and I'll be adjunct very soon. So yeah, so we are talking about research excellence in library and information science. So this is something that emerging and in the spotlight in Australia among most of the LIS researchers. The cultural information science. I call it cultural information science, but everyone is in saying different things like religious aspect of the information science or the cultural aspect of the information science. So I call it as cultural information science. So before I dive into the concept, I would talk about how it evolved. It has evolved, the concept. So the transformation of information practices, you know that information practices research is new branch of information science and grown up since late 90s. And earlier, we actually focused on the user-centered approach and how people find, seek, distribute information. So in the leading academics are Brenda Derwin, Karen Fisher. So they all focus on very individualist perspective of it, how people find information, And later on, Pam McKenzie, Lloyd, Anna-Marie Lloyd, Savalenin, they just started to talk about the social aspect of the information practices, because every activity has a key information component attached to it. So the what the people do are normally all the activities is they are doing it because there is something information attached to it. Yeah. So you can't just isolate, the things happens to you because of individualistic, but it is very social aspect of it. Yeah. So there is these Savalenin, Lloyd, and Pam McKenzie. They were talking about the social aspect of the information practices. So the cultural context significantly shapes how individuals seek, interpret, and use information. So this one is the trend now, and it has now is creating another branch of the information practices. So that is why I thought that doing a presentation on this is very important, because it is now emerging thing. So the need of the cultural understanding, I'll give you some case studies. One of my publications recently done just a month ago, exploring karmic capital in the context of cultural information practices. So I found when I interviewed the devotees and the monks of a particular temple, so their practices are based on karma. And so which, all their things are based, most of their things are based on karma to collect merits. And so their activities embedded all these things, their cultural concepts in their activities. And what I did was I was thinking, okay, how this karma is helped to in terms of the information practices. And normally, I combine these kind of activities into the capitals, creation of capitals. So which is the principal sociological forms of capitals are economic, cultural, and social, so social capitals. And where does karma is fit in those things? Can we call karma, collecting karma, as cultural capital? Or can we call collecting karma as cultural capital? We normally call cultural capital, if you are something, a statue or whatever, cultural, that tangible things, as the cultural capital, then the symbolic things. So where does this karma fit in there? It's because people are making decisions based on the karma. So from that research, my finding was the karmic capital emerging as a very important outcome of these practices, as essential argument foisted by the author, which is me, pertain to the distinctive nature of the karmic capital, which is I found the karmic capital is a hybrid manifestation of capital that intricately interwoven with the cultural and the symbolic capitals. So karma is a part of cultural and the symbolic capital. We can't just straight away say karma, collecting karma is cultural capital. So like that. So this is one example. And the second case study is one of my friend did in 2019, and that was before the COVID. And Jelena, and she was doing research about the Aboriginal Australians. So you can see the Aboriginal Australians, their activities are based on their belief systems, which is the many ceremonies. They have so many cultural ceremonies. So they are designed for these cultural ceremonies for healing purposes, keeping the spirits and culture alive. So that Jelena did the research about Karinjinji people in South Australia. So what she found was their activities are based on all these cultural beliefs of ceremonies. And the case study 3 is about the research done by Kathleen in the University of the Philippines. So information, behavior, and Filipino values. So her findings shows that our values and belief system affect on how they deal with the information. So value in Filipino terms, gaya-gaya, or loosely translated as copying or imitating others. And this is one of the reasons why people post in social media. So there is a value in Filipino called gaya-gaya, so which is why they are just post things in the social media. So you can see clearly the people's activities are actually influenced by their cultural behaviors, norms. So that's why she said the gaya-gaya manifestation in fads and use of apps, etc., etc. And the other one is done by, the case study 4 is done by both my PhD supervisor, Michael, and what he found was the embodied information practices, which is sometimes in China we call mushin noshin, so which is called the mind without the mind, no mind. Which means that if someone comes to hit you, if someone comes to attack you, so you can't just think and act. So you do the defense without thinking. Yeah. So that is called the mushin. So it is like embedded. You don't really know it until you can do it without thinking, which is called the muscle memory. Yeah? So you just suddenly try to defend yourself. And so this is more practice. So their cultural values is to based on these kind of things, mushin noshin, just like in Filipinos culture, gaya-gaya, or the Garagandi culture, the ceremonies. So in Sri Lankan culture, more like karma, merits. So the people do so many things based on their cultural perspectives, the cultural norms. And so every activity has an information component in it. So the activities can be connected to, because they are not isolated, they derived from the cultural behaviors. So what my suggestion is, the key questions in cultural information research that we can explore would be, we need to understand the role of information researchers within the different cultural perspectives. Yeah. So we have the different groups of people have different cultural perspectives. So we have to analyze them and think, okay, why people do these things? Because of their cultural aspects. Maybe it's a religious aspect, maybe it's a spiritual aspects, maybe it's about something else. So it sheds light on the previously invisible aspect of information practice theory. So Savalanin always said since 2008, information practices are very invisible. We don't understand them. We don't understand why people do these things. So this one shed light to that, analyzing the cultural behaviors. And also Girardi keeps saying, complex web of relationships among people, material artifacts, and activities. Very complex people. We don't understand why people do this, because the relationship between the people, material artifacts, and activities are quite sophisticated. So it will shed light, to understand the information practices. So my conclusion is the incorporation of cultural dimensions in information practice research is crucial. And by embracing cultural context, we can advance our understanding of information practices and their implications. So so that's about it. It's a short presentation to emphasize my new research area that I'm just trying to market. I would say the cultural information science, and always think about the theories would change. Yeah, so it is not firm. So when you bring more factors into the table, you can find more and more things. For an example, I brought cultural aspect, I combine it with the capital theories. And Michael brought cultural aspect and he combined it with the embodiment. So when you think about how people behave, why they do these things, and if you put that cultural factor into it, and then you can combine that one with the existing theories, so you probably can find new things, new findings. So that's the trend here. So in the information science, we have to take the information science research out of the four walls of the libraries into the grassroots levels, into the and think and focus on the culture. So it will be the cultural information science. Thank you very much. Any questions? And I hope to be on live during the presentation and after the presentation, and hope to see you soon.